This video will quickly look at Nimscripter and the features and utilities it gives you to use inside Nim code. So at first you'll just want to import Nimscripter, which will allow you to load Nimscript and evaluate it easily. So after you do that, you can simply just load a script using the load script in the path to the script. In this case, it's just showcase.nims. So now we can then open showcase.nims and we can add something as simple as echo hello world. And now when we compile and run this, we will see that it will echo a hello world. A note is that when you are using debug mode, the interpreter is slower to start up and reevaluate. So we now see hello world. We can quickly change this message to Nimscripter tutorial. And when we save this and we just run the tutorial file, we will see that it says Nimscripter tutorial instead. So this is simple, just run the file and do whatever it says. On top of that, you can easily expose Nim code to Nimscripter using the Nimscripted module. So just import Nimscripted, then define your proc as you would, get 10. It's going to return an int. The only difference is we want to export it to script. Then we can just return 10. That's all that's really required. This has to be above import Nimscripter due to how consts work in Nim. So now we can simply go for x and 0.get 10. And for each of those, we can just output the x. And when we recompile it and rerun it, it will complain here that it doesn't have the identifier because it's not concerned with how we're running it. And we get 10. So that's one way of using this interop in a very simple manner, is just using a property. Another thing you can do is use the export code macro, which will take the code that you write underneath of it and paste it directly into Nimscript when it's ran. So we'll just define an object here. We will give it a field of an int. And then what we can do is proc get object to return an object. We'll export this to script. Export to script will mean that Nimscript can call it and it will run on Nim, or in Nim rather. So we can just return a new object that has a of 42. So then we can hop back up to showcase.nim, we can echo get object, and when this runs, we should in fact see that we get 42 written as the a field of this object. There you go, that means that's working. So another thing we can do is export the code from Nimscript to Nim. We can define a proc, fancy thing is what we'll name it. We will give it .export to Nim, and then we can just echo hello from Nimscript. So then what we can do is use this interpreter. We can check if it is a sum because it's an option object. We then go enter .get .invoke the name of the function plus exported. So this is fancy thing exported. We don't have any arguments and the return type is void, so we can run that. And then we should see it say hello from Nimscript when we compile it. And there you go. And what else we can do is we can change this to actually just do like for x in 0.10 echo x. And we can just save this and then run the tutorial program without recompilation. And it's slow because it's running in debug mode, but if we quickly change this to release or danger mode, we will quickly see that we get tons of performance on reevaluation of code. It was almost instant there. See, I can change this to back to I could just and then almost instant on the reevaluation of this. What this allows you to do is quickly script Nim code from Nimscripter and then embed it if you really wanted to. because instead of using this invoke here, you would just call the fancy function that you now create from Nim. This will enable quick prototyping, user scriptable logic such in games or UI, so you do not have to recompile the program every time that you're scripting, or want to make changes rather.